Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Today's topic, we're going to be starting the topic of Modud. And Modud means to elongate. It means to stretch. It needs to make it lengthen, to lengthen the sound. So Modud is the plural word for stretching, and Mad is the singular. Mad is singular and Modud is plural. If you remember, we talked about the mud letters while we were discussing the letters, the makhraj of these letters, right? Mud letters come from the area of the jawf, right? The jawf meaning the part of the empty space in the mouth and in the throat. So this is the area from where the mud letters are articulated, where they are emitted. So if you remember, alif, waw, and ya. Alif, waw, and ya are mud letters, right? Alif is a mud letter. Alif becomes a mud letter. When does alif is always a mud letter? Alif is a mud letter, and you'll see that alif is when it's preceded, when before the alif comes a letter, the letter with a fatha. I'm writing this on the page so that this is a letter. Before alif comes a letter with a fatha. So this alif acts as a mad for the letter, like the word qa, qala. Okay, qala, right? This alif makes the qa, lengthens the qa and gives it 2 harakats. If the alif wouldn't be there, it will be just qala. But because of the alif, it becomes qala. So this qa is lengthened and alif is the mad. The second letter mad is the letter waw. And remember, all these mad letters, they have sukoon on them. Okay, it's not written in the mushaf, but it's understood that it has sukoon on it. So waw is a mad letter. If before waw there is a letter with a dhamma on it. Okay, a letter with a dhamma before it. Okay, again, let's do the same. Qala, qalu is an example of waw mad. Qalu. So I'm just trying to make you jog your memories, asking you to remember what the mud letters were, and they were from the jawf area. So that is the letter waw. Here is the letter for the waw is the mud for the letter lam here. And then we have the letter ya. Now ya too is a mud letter if it is preceded by a letter that has a kasra. Okay, so qila. Now here you don't see that you know that there is a sukoon here, but in the Arabic Musaf it is not written. Okay, qila or qila. Okay, so the letters alif, waw, and ya are the mud letters. They come from the jawf. They are the makharij area for these letters. There's the jawf area, and there's no involvement of the tongue. So you can stretch the sound of mud letters as long as you can, as long as you want to. It depends on your lung capacity. So you can stretch it to 2 counts, 3 counts, 4 counts, 5 counts, 6 counts, and more. Okay, because everyone's lung capacity differs. So my mud, the mud, my 1 count mud or 2 count mud will be shorter than the 2 count mud that's made by, say, a qari, like say Mishari. Okay, Mishari's muds, the 2 count mud will be my 4 count mud because my lung capacity is less. So what you need to keep in mind is you have to maintain the length for 2 counts, and then 4 counts will be double the 2 counts. Okay, so that's what you need to maintain, inshallah. Okay, so Modud is of 2 types. We have Madul asli, Madul asli, and then you have Madul Farai. Okay, let me just remove this so that it will become clear for you. Okay, now we take this out and I'm going to show you the classification here. Okay, it's divided into two groups, two main groups. Modud is divided into two groups. One group is the group of Mad Asli. Mad Asli. Okay, it's like this. It's written like Asli. Okay, Asli. Mad Asli. And then you have Mad Farai. It's already written here, Mad Farai. These two main groups are the two groups in Modud. The first group, we will focus on the first group. The group that we are going to talk today about is Mad Asli. Okay, Mad Asli is, they have different types of mads in this group, but basically all the mads that come under Mad Asli are two count mads. They are two count mads. Mad Asli is what? It is a two count mad. That is all the mads, all the elongations that happen in these groups, in these different types of mads, are going to be stretched only for two counts. And there is no reason. It's just it's because it is a part of the mad. It's a part of the character of the mad. It's a part of the intrinsic quality of the mad. It is only going to be stretched to two counts. In Mad Farai, the mad is going to be stretched to either 4 counts, 5 counts, or 6 counts. Okay, so default is 2 counts. Default is Mad Asli, 2 counts, and anything that happens more than 2 counts is Mad Farai. Okay, in Mad Farai, there should be a reason. There should be a reason why a 2 count mad is stretched to a 4, a 5, or a 6 count. So keep in mind, Mad Farai has a reason why the mad is stretched to 4, 5, or 6. Okay, so this is the difference between Mad Asli. Mad Asli is the default mad, always 2 counts, and can never go more than 2 counts. So all the mads that come under Mad Asli will be only stretched to 2 counts. Mad Farai, the mads are stretched to more than 2 counts, which is 4, 5, or 6, and there is a reason. Okay, there's a reason why. Okay, now let's look at the first one. The first one is we're going to do is Mad Tabai, which I just discussed with you. So let's look at the definition of Modud. Okay, what is Modud? Modud is to lengthen. Modud is to elongate. You can say elongate, lengthening. And its linguistic definition is it's to give extra. That is, you give an extra sound. You lengthen the sound. Lengthening is adding an extra sound, right? So, and its applied definition is, because this is what we are concerned with. We are concerned with its applied definition. And what's the applied definition? The definition is lengthening of the sound, okay, with a letter of mud letter. So we have this we covered in Makharij. So if you look at here, the ya with a sukoon, the picture here, the first one, ya with a sukoon, ya mad with a sukoon, and then you have wow mad with a sukoon, with and before it there is a dhamma, ya with the letter before it has a kasra, and then you have the alif. You have, letter with a kasra here, and then you have the alif sukoon and the letter with the fatha here. We discussed this, right? And we know the tongue is not involved. Okay, the tongue is not involved in the production of the mud letters. Now, what are the examples here you see? There's no vibration in the tongue. There's just, here you see the tongue raised, but the tongue is not involved. It's not touching anywhere. The alif with a sukoon preceded by a fatha, the waw with a sukoon preceded by a dhamma, and ya with a sukoon preceded by a kasra are the natural mads, which are called mad tabai. Okay, this is called mad tabai. You remember waw and ya also have, when they come with a haraka, they are not, they are called waw mutaharrik and ya mutaharrik, right? So here we are not talking about waw mutaharrik and ya mutaharrik. We're talking about waw mad and ya mad. And we also know there is waw lean and ya lean. So here we are not talking about waw lean and ya lean. We are talking about mad waw and madhya, just to make sure that you understand the difference. Okay, so what is the example? Look at this example here. This is a beautiful example with which you can remember the mud letters. Okay, the letters nu, he, ha. Nu, he, ha is the mnemonic way of remembering. Is one of the words in the Quran where you can remember the mud letters waw, ya, and alif. Okay. The two lean letters, see, they also mentioned that two lean letters. The waw sakina preceded by a fatha. We did the sifa of lean, right, which means ease. Ease in it means to do it in an easy manner. There's no effort. So the waw sakina preceded by a fatha and ya sakina preceded by a fatha. Then you have waw lean and ya lean. What is mad tabi is what just I discussed. Its definition, it is called mad tabai. It's called natural mud. It is a mud that without which the letter cannot exist. The timing, and it does not stop due to the hamza or the sukun. That is, the sound can keep being elongated as long as you can elongate it, as long as your lungs can lengthen the sound, as long as the sound comes from the air from your lungs can run as long as it can. Okay, so it has no stopping. It depends on your lung capacity. So there's no stop due to a hamza or sukun. Its indication is there should not be a hamza before it, and there should not be a hamza or sukun after it. It is because right? Ya sukun, it has to have a kasra before it. Waw sukun has to have a dhamma before it, and alif has to have a fatha before it. So this is the first one. This is the natural mud, and this is based on this we have all the other muds. Okay, we did the example of qala, yaqulu, and qila, right? We have natural mud in these. We have already discussed this. And then we have also natural muds in the letters of huruf muqatta'at. So what are the letters of huruf muqatta'at? We see that the letters that come in certain surahs, in the beginning of certain surahs, that have where you read them without joining them to the next letters, like for example alif lam mim. I don't say when I start reading Surah Baqarah, when I start the first ayah is alif lam mim, right? So these are disjointed letters. They are called huruf muqatta'at. And in these, and like this, there are other letters in different surahs. Okay, so like if you see these letters, especially the letters hayyun tahar that you see over here, ha, ya. You see these letters from the huruf muqatta'at, like hamim. Okay, hamim here. Ha is from the huruf muqatta'at that is going to be stretched only to 2 counts. Okay, because if I open ha and spell ha, it's going to be spelled like this, ha. Okay, if I spell ta is going to be spelled like this, ta. If I spell ya it will be spelled with an alif mad. So ha, ta, ya, ha, and ra, right? So all of them have the alif mad here. So even the letters of huruf muqatta'at, when you recite it, there are some letters in the huruf muqatta'at, because you have also lam and mim, right? But these lam and mim do not come under category where it is stretched to 2 counts. They are the ones that where it is stretched to 6 counts. These are 6 count huruf muqatta'at. These two are 6 count stretched to 6 counts. But the letters hayyun tahar, they are only stretched to 2 counts. So they follow the rule of mad tabai. Okay. So when we talked about mad tabai, what did we say? The letters alif, the mad letters alif, waw, ya. Alif preceded by a fatha, waw preceded by a dhamma, and ya preceded by a kasra. Okay. Okay, let's do one more and then we will stop. This is easy one, so we will stop with this. The second category that comes under mad asli. Remember, mad asli are all the mads that come under mad asli are only 2 count mads. Okay, there's no reason why I stretch it to 2 counts. Keep in mind, there's no reason why I stretch it to 2 counts. It has to be done. You do it. It's the default. Okay, you have to do it. The second one is the letter is the mad called mad iwad. Okay, mad iwad. And it is called the substitute lengthening, but you don't need to know this English meaning. Okay, you don't need to know this. What you need to know is this terminology, mad iwad. So what happens in mad iwad is when you have a letter ending with a tanween, when you have a letter, a word ending with a tanween, and you stop at that word, okay, like we have a lot of those words in Surah Naba. When you stop at that word, then what do you read? You don't read it with a sukoon. You read it as a fatha followed by an alif mad. Okay, like the word, let's take the example iwaja. Okay, let's take the example iwajan. Okay, here you're stopping at iwaja. So how do I read? I don't say iwajan or iwaj. I read it as iwaja. So how did I read this? I read it as with a alif sound. Okay. So whenever you see a tanween, a tanween that is fathatain, you'll always see an alif following it. And when you stop at this word, you will always read it with the mad alif sound. Fatha followed by mad alif sound. Okay. So this is called mad iwad. Okay, let's read what they define. It is substituting a lengthened alif for the tanween with a fatha when stopping on it. So if I don't stop at this word, and I continue reading, I will not make the mad iwad. Okay, I will just read as iwajan and continue. The lengthening is 2 counts, which means the length of 2 vowels, the same as the counts of natural lengthening. The same as the counts of natural lengthening. This mad takes place whether there is an alif written after the letter with the tanween or not. When continuing reading and not stopping on the word that has the tanween with a fatha, this lengthening disappears and the noon sakina rules are applied to the tanween. That is, if it's followed by the tanween, if I'm not stopping and if I'm continuing, and it is followed by the letters of noon sakina rules, then I will apply the rules of noon sakina here. I will apply the rules of noon sakina tanween. I'll explain it to you when we are doing our recitation today, inshallah. If there is a alif written after the tanween, it is dropped when we are continuing. So keep that in mind. Okay. Let's look at this example. Okay. Hudan. When you stop at hudan, this word is hudan. Okay. When you stop at hudan, I will read as huda. When I stop at ma'an, I will read as ma'a. Okay. There are 2 counts. Shukuran, I will read as shukura. Jam'an, I read as jam'a. So I'll stretch the last letter and make a mad sound, an alif mad sound. Okay. The tanween is usually a sound of a noun. We know that all letters, all words that have tanween tell you that the letter is the word is a noun, right? That's one of the ways you identify nouns. But there are 2 cases when verbs have a tanween on them, representing the light, non-stressed emphatic noon and not part of a noun. The 2 places are in Suratul Yusuf. Okay. You don't need to know this because this rule is the same and stopping on these 2 words. Okay. Here too you will do a two count vowel. You'll do a 2 count mad here. Okay. So it is the same. Okay. Okay. Now there is exception to this rule. That is when you stop at a word that has a ta marbuta, right? When the word has a ta marbuta, and if the ta marbuta has 2 fathas, ni'matan. So I have the word ni'matan, and if I stop at it, I will not read as ni'mata. Okay, I will not read it as ni'mata because for this ta marbuta, which is meaning a closed ta, if I stop at a closed ta, which has fathatain, I will not follow the rule of mad iwad. I will follow the rule where the ta marbuta is read as ha. So again over here, rahmatan is rahmatan. I will not read as rahmata. I will read as rahmah. Okay, rahmah. But what if it's a ta marbuta? If instead of a ta marbuta, it is ta maftuha, where it is the open ta. What if if the word ends with a ta maftuha? Will the rule apply? No. The rule, the rule apply, meaning will the rule be followed by will change the ta maftuha and make it a ha? It will not. It will not apply. For all the words that end with a ta maftuha, and you all know what ta maftuha is, it's an open ta. It's this ta here. Sorry, sisters. Okay, so what will you do with the ta maftuha? The open ta, you will read it as a ta with a fatha followed by an alif. Okay. Okay, is that clear? Inshallah, we can stop the recording. We are done for today. We can stop.